You're nodding along when someone suggests dinner, already doing the math in your head. Can my account handle this? Can I stretch it to Friday? And you already know the answer. You'll say yes anyway, because saying no means admitting something you're not ready to say out loud. That calculation happens fast now, faster than it used to. It's automatic. The mental math of what you can pretend to afford. You've gotten good at it. Too good. You can assess a menu before it arrives. You know if this is a cheapest entree night or if you can relax a little. You know which friends suggest expensive places and which ones won't judge you for saying you already ate. You've built an entire system around managing appearances, while your bank account tells a very different story. $300 in your checking account on a Tuesday, again. And it's not like you spent it on anything memorable. No big purchase, no wild night. It just went. It dissolved into 100 small decisions that all felt reasonable at the time. The coffee you deserved after that meeting. The Uber because you were tired. The thing you added to your cart at midnight because it was on sale, which felt responsible somehow. Except you are thinking about it, more than you want to admit. You think about it at 2 a.m. You think about it when someone mentions a vacation. You think about it every time you open your banking app, which is why you've started opening it less. Out of sight, out of mind. Except it's never out of mind. It's always there, humming in the background, like tinnitus. The awareness that you're 34 and you have less saved than you did at 28. The quiet realization that building wealth was something you were supposed to be doing by now, but you're still just trying not to go backward. And here's the part nobody talks about. You make decent money. That's what makes this so confusing. On paper, you're fine. You're employed. You're functioning. You're not poor in a way that gets sympathy. You're just quietly broke. Quietly watching the years pass while your net worth stays trapped in the same narrow range. Quietly realizing that every article about retirement assumes you started saving in your 20s with compound interest doing the heavy lifting. You didn't. And now the math looks different. The life you thought you'd be living by now costs about 40% more than what you actually make. You've been saying next year for 3 years. Next year you'll save. Next year you'll invest. Next year you'll figure out what a Roth IRA actually is and why everyone acts like you should already know it. Next year you'll stop living like you're 25 and start living like someone who wants to retire someday. But next year keeps becoming this year. This year keeps becoming last year, and last year is now 3 years ago when you told yourself the exact same thing. You opened a retirement calculator once, entered your age, your savings, your expected retirement date. You saw the number. You closed the tab. You haven't opened one since, because that number wasn't motivating. It wasn't inspiring. It was just depressing. The kind of depressing that doesn't push you to change. It makes you stop thinking about it entirely. So you did. And then there are the subscriptions, the streaming services you barely use, the gym you haven't been to in months, the app you signed up for during a free trial and forgot about, the premium version of something you definitely don't need the premium version of. You know they're there. You know they're draining money every month. You've thought about canceling them. You've even opened the app to do it. But then you think, what if I want that show? What if I actually start going to the gym again? It's only $10. Only $10 times 8 subscriptions times 12 months is... You don't finish that math. You just close the app. Because here's what's really happening. You're not bad with money because you're irresponsible. You're bad with money because you're tired. You're tired of saying no to yourself. You spent your 20s denying yourself, saving, being careful. And then something happened. A car repair, a move, slow work, an emergency. The savings evaporated. And it felt like failure. So you stopped denying yourself. Not big things, not boats or luxury watches, just small comforts, the nicer dinner, the new jeans, the easier option instead of the cheaper one. You started choosing what feels good now because later keeps not working out anyway. And nobody explained this part. Nobody told you that lifestyle inflation only moves one direction, that once you get used to comfort, going backward feels like punishment, feels like failure, feels like losing, even when it's the financially correct move. You were too busy surviving to see the pattern forming, too focused on getting through each month to notice that months were becoming years, and the life being built wasn't the one you imagined. But here's the thing that breaks everything you think you know. It's not actually about the money. I know how that sounds. But stay with me, because people who build wealth, real wealth, they all figured out the same thing. And it's not budgets or side hustles or secret investments. It's identity. You're not broke because you're making bad decisions. You're broke because you're making perfectly rational decisions for the identity you're currently living in. Someone who works hard and deserves comfort. Someone who's been responsible enough. Someone who'll get serious later. That identity makes sense. It's human. It's also bankrupting you, because the person who builds wealth is different. They can feel discomfort and not immediately spend to escape it. They can want something and not buy it. They make decisions based on who they're becoming, not who they are right now. Wealthy people don't lack desire. They lack urgency to satisfy it. Here's a story. There was a guy. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus made $190,000 a year. Great job, successful by every metric. He had $3,700 in savings and $18,000 in credit card debt. When someone finally broke down his spending, there was nothing crazy. No gambling, no addiction, just drift. A nice apartment, eating out most nights, Ubers everywhere, upgrades he didn't need. 1,000 small yeses. Marcus wasn't spending to be reckless. He was spending to manage emotion. Hungry, eat out. Tired, Uber. Bored, buy something. Frustrated, upgrade. And it was bankrupting him at $190,000 a year. Because budgets don't fail because of math. They fail because of identity. You can't budget your way out of using spending to manage feelings. You can't invest your way out of treating future you like a stranger. You can't save your way out of believing deprivation is failure. The game changed, and nobody told you. You were raised to believe comfort is success, that self-care means spending, that experiences justify the cost. All true. None came with a manual for how to do that and still retire. So you're stuck, making too much for sympathy, too little to get ahead, saving too little to matter, and getting older every year. Here's the shift that changes everything. Money isn't a test of willpower. It's a test of self-trust. You don't trust that future you will benefit from present you sacrificing, because historically it hasn't worked. So why deny yourself now? That's not irresponsibility. That's pattern recognition. People who build wealth trust themselves. They keep promises to future them, and that trust compounds just like money. Here's another truth. Every dollar is a soldier. Most people send them to war without orders. Your money arrives and immediately disperses. Bills, food, convenience, leftovers, maybe, savings. No mission, no direction. People who build wealth give every dollar a job before it arrives. And the gap between what you could spend and what you actually do, that gap, that's where wealth lives. The world is designed to close that gap. Ads, algorithms, convenience. Wealth is built by keeping it open. That requires becoming someone new, someone who can sit with discomfort, someone who can say no, someone who values freedom more than comfort. You could do that, but most people won't.
Because the real cost isn't money, it's identity death. The death of the version of you who deserves comfort, who will start later, who's already tried hard enough. That version has to die, and that's painful. So people choose comfort instead. And 10 years pass. You'll be 44 whether you start today or not. Whether you're 44 and wealthy or 44 and still quietly broke is being decided right now. The question isn't if you can change, it's if you will.
You can close this video, and nothing changes. Tomorrow, you'll see something you want, and you'll have the same conversation with yourself, and you'll probably make the same choice. And in 6 months, you'll be here again, feeling the same way, stuck in the same place, wondering why you can't get ahead. Or you can decide that this is the moment, not when you have more willpower, not when you make more money, not when it's easier. Now, when it's hard, when you're tired, when the deck is stacked. Now, because now is the only time you ever actually have. How much of your future are you willing to trade for comfort right now? How many years of Sunday night dread is that thing in your cart actually worth? What do you want badly enough to feel the discomfort of not buying your way out? Nobody's coming to fix this for you. Your move.